get started. All right, we are live. And for um, posting, everybody here should have access to the Board of Directors Kingdom of Westmarch Discord channel. So we can technically all post here. So for things to be shown, we will have to put it here. I am not talented enough with OBS yet to show everybody in the audio channel how to work this, but we'll do what we do, if that's acceptable. I am in the Board of Directors conference room for the Kingdom of Westmarch. If somebody wants to share their screen, we can use the Discord share screen if that is what we are talking about. Is that what you're talking about, Mr. Thistledown? Oh, well, I can share the screen if you would like. And what should we share if you have a recommendation? Itinerary? I think that's a wonderful idea. We will go ahead and do that. Window. Okay. Yeah, I pasted it into the board of directors um, conference room channel. I wish I could share the contents of the screen. Let's see if I can share this. There is a 5-second delay, but it does work. So we all. A wild dagger has appeared. Okay, so with the itinerary for our February 23rd BOD, let's go ahead and do a fancy call to order and do attendance and roll call with everybody's permission. Do we have a certain individual, perhaps the secretary, that would like to do the attendance and roll call? That would be Chicken. Yes, it's Mr. Bear Bear. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, yes, present. That is where I grabbed it. I could not find your real first name. My apologies. We are missing either uh, technically the individual whose name I can't honestly pronounce, Clean Way. Yeah, yes, Prime Minister. All right, motion to proceed past roll call and move to reading of minutes of January's minutes. All right, I would like to put forth. I would like to put forth a motion to waive the reading of last month's minutes. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Is there anybody opposed to waiving the reading of January's minutes? Um, in my opinion, January's meeting was mildly muffled and mildly unorganized simply because it was a rushed and unplanned meeting due to schedule conflicts. If we want to read the minutes, that's fine. I'm just putting it forth if it becomes a majority opinion. If we want to read the minutes, by all means. Chicken did a great job on the minutes. There is, Mr. Chavez has completed those minutes. I personally have reviewed them. Um, I Chicken, have you uploaded them anywhere? The conference, you are correct. Yeah, I'd like to revisit I'd revisit the motion to waive this one simply because the planning of last meeting wasn't as accurate, and moving forward, I'd like to have this be the professional first meeting, if acceptable. Wonderful. We do have great. Love it. I'm just trying to waive reading the minutes at the moment. Sure, I'm going to open them right now, and we will be streaming the minutes. And we're going to go through and say that of the individuals, uh, Brian was voted as president, Rose was voted as president, Paul was voted as liaison, Mr. Chavez was voted as secretary, and Andy Brown was voted as treasurer. Wonderful. I will put forth the motion to move to accept the minutes. Have any? Do we have anybody against? Wonderful. I am very glad to hear. Okay. Um, I would like to make a few announcements. This is the announcements section of the BOD meeting. Historically, this has often been at the end of West BOD meetings. I'm going to put it at the very beginning. There's a couple important things that I would like to bring up. And first one is Rose had a birthday yesterday. I'd like to say happy birthday to Rose. I'd also like to welcome. I would also like. I would also like to welcome Wendy, who is our new prime minister and who has been kind enough to join this meeting. She's currently in the meeting. Thank Wendy for being here, and congratulations on your knighthood. I'm sure you are just so excited to be a part of all of this. Let it be said that just because you get a belt doesn't mean you get away from doing more. All right. Many individuals were at Out. Out had a final attendance of 105 people. Last year was a pandemic affected year. Dark Shore, 93 people. That does not mean that one event is better than the other, but it means that Southern California can absolutely have a viable event, and I hope that Scorch has the opportunity to join us in the future, because I would love her to talk about um, that event in greater detail. And I would also like to ask if Bear would like to say anything about the incredibly successful zombie hunt. Bear, are you in this meeting? I think you are. We have a Samoan in this meeting at the moment. Do you have anything that you'd like to say about the zombie hunt in a brief statement? I'd like to make a clarification. I hope Mr. Scorch is able to join us in the future. They are his preferred pronouns. That's my bad. Okay. The floor is open to announcements. Is there anybody that would like to say anything at this moment uh, regarding anything that they would like to bring up? And this isn't about new or unfinished business for the BOD. This is a great opportunity to just shout out things that you like. I know you were excited about that site. I'm glad you were able to secure it, and I hope it really works out great, obviously. All right, if there's no other announcements, motion to move to the actual February agenda. Let's hear it. I absolutely love it. I think if anybody has an opportunity to make a short trip to help that out, helping out the small lands is huge, and I think supporting any park in the kingdom is something we can definitely take advantage of. Wonderful. All right. Holy cow. I think that Poinsettia Park would have appreciated if we charged. Well, motion to move forward to February agenda. Wonderful. All right. Um, there's a couple things on here that some people submitted. There's a couple things on here that I have added, At any point in time, there is a floating motion that anybody can call to table something from below, to push things, to march, or to end the meeting if it goes long. I don't want people thinking this is more work than they have to do. If you have to leave at any point in time, that is okay. Um, please don't feel like this is a burden. I really don't want this to be a burden for anybody. Um, the first thing that I would like to bring up on the agenda is the parameters of the BOD, what we can and what we cannot do. And I think there was a very wonderful discussion in January about having individuals review the BOD handbook, having individuals review the corpora, um, explaining what would be overreach and what wouldn't be overreach. So I'm going to open up the conversation. Can the BOD achieve this year? What is something that anybody here would like to potentially bring to the table? A very standard role of a nonprofit BOD is to sign all contracts. So that is a wonderful thing to bring up. Is there another statement from anybody else? It's okay if there isn't, of course. If it is a Westmarch event, according to the Capora, the Westmarch Board of Directors is responsible for completing any paperwork, signing contracts, and anything in regard to contractual obligations, much like the conversation we were having about the post office box. Out was not a Westmarch event, of course, but it's possible that some events like Feast of Mars and Darkshore potentially are Westmarch events. So the board of directors should be aggressively overseeing those contracts. Yeah. Hmm. We obviously just brought up a very interesting point, and I think we need to, by the end of the year, create some literature to potentially request to be added to the corpora to absolve individuals who aren't at events of liability. And that is obviously not the correct verbiage, but that's something that we may have to add. That is a very viable concern, Scoot, Andy. Dark Shore. So Westmarch would be the target of any potential uh, issues. It wouldn't be we're going to target uh, Rose because Rose signed the contract. As a rough example, is that correct, Victoria? Love it. I can answer that one. The Westmarch BOD is an entity of Westmarch. We are just a department tasked with signing and overviewing the contract for the betterment of our organization. That doesn't make us liable. We are just one department of an organization. The organization is still liable. Perfect. I love that. Um, I like that very much. From the Capora, the board of directors shall elect a liaison officer who shall be responsible for contact with all outside agencies, and that would be their individual point. So we would have a finance individual, a prime minister, and a liaison whose jobs would already be tasked with overseeing those contractual obligations. Which should be the liaison. So, do you have any addendums, Andy, about this at the moment that you would like to add that we could potentially continue to discuss as we move forward with this? Okay. Um, the number one thing I wanted to bring up about the parameters of the BOD is what we can and what we cannot do. Um, in my opinion, there are some things that we can do, and we can work with recruitment for all of Westmarch, advertisement for all of Westmarch. We can discuss what rules decisions have been made and make advisements on those rules decisions. We can interact with other groups and government agencies. And of course, we are in charge of signing contracts. Um, I think if we look over CA Amtgard, if we look over AmpWiki, if we look over the Amtgard Facebook pages, if we look over all the different documentation that we have, we can all find areas that can be upgraded. I took a brief look at the Westmarch Facebook page. I took a brief look at CA Amtgard. I looked at the Westmarch AmpWiki. There's a lot of stuff that can be updated. And I really want to give everybody one piece of homework, and that is look over what our online presence looks like. And if you find something that you think needs to be fixed, let us know, and we can work towards finding a way to resolve it. As a simple point, the Westmarch page on Facebook directs to CA Amtgard, which is great. But should we have it also direct to the AMP wiki? Should we also have it direct to the Discord? Should we also have it direct to specific pages for specific lands? What type of things can we fix or enhance during our term for this year? I think that's wonderful. Did you say recruitment group? Okay, that's wonderful. That's outstanding. Uh, from a brief review of what board of directors cannot do, I saw that recruitment was part of it. That may be antiquated information. We can choose to completely avoid recruitment. Is that something we would like to get a vote on? If there is a recruitment group, that's great. But I think that is exactly what I was attempting to bring up is it's difficult to find information. Like I had to spend a lot of time trying to find the EIN for Westmarch and trying to find out what type of nonprofit Westmarch was. It doesn't exist on the Facebook. It doesn't exist on AmpWiki. It doesn't exist on CA Amtgard. That's information that we are supposed to put up. And that's why I was like, that's something that we can do according to a traditional definition of the board of directors. However, that does not mean that we have to do that. If there's a recruitment group, by all means, but we should find a way to support them. Is this a so it's a private group that's focused on finding ways to recruit all across Westmarch? Okay. I suppose I'm talking more about. Well, no, there's no reason to bring that up. We have plenty of other things we can focus on. If we don't want to deal with recruitment, that's fine. I think recruitment is one of the biggest issues that Westmarch is currently dealing with, but if that's outside of our scope and purview, that's fine. Yeah, I think every park should have access if there is a recruitment group so that they can reach out and say, hey, I need help with recruitment. We only have one bear that's visiting all the parks in California. So if there is a Facebook group or some type of social media access, I think that would be valuable. Perfect. All right. I'd like to move on from here to, and one final thing. I think we have a lot of smart individuals in this group. I really think that it might be a wonderful idea for individuals if they see anything on social media that might need to be updated in any capacity. Don't be afraid to bring it up here because just like what just happened now, it can get routed to the right individuals. I want to move on to fundraising, if that's okay. Do we have a motion to go away from the parameters of BOD? Let's do it. Mhm. I think that's something that we absolutely can do. I think we should talk about finding a way to do V9 outreach as we get maybe towards the fall, or should we be doing that now, Dagger? I think that's a wonderful idea. Um, Mr. Chavez may have to dip out for a few seconds. I told him that he needs to do that because he is helping an individual, and acts of service are a priority, in my opinion. Okay, would we like to move on to fundraising? This is very quick. Do we have a motion to move on to fund? Can I get a second to a motion to move on? Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Um, we have a motion that Sean is adorable. Um, while looking through the Westmarch website and CA Amtgard and such like that, I noticed that we didn't have the EN posted anywhere that I could find. I'm going to eventually make recommendations, which is not a BOD thing at all. But one thing BOD can do is fundraising. My question to the veteran members of this group, Eta, Rose, Scoot, Thistledown, has the BOD ever done any fundraising? Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that very much. It is 35%. We are indeed a 501c7. I did find our EIN. We can do fundraising. We can get 35% from somewhere if we wanted, and it's 35% of year to year dues paying income. But we cannot give out a tax deductible receipt. So any donations to our social club, as Andy so accurately pointed out, is not uh, tax deductible. It would just be charity for the kindness of an individual. So yes, 35% of our total yearly income, which strictly comes from dues. Now, let's say we take in $100 of dues per year. We only have 10 people pay for 6 months. You get the idea. That means we can raise $35. If we take in, that is not a donation. Events is, that's a great question. Victoria? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I I misspoke there. Yeah, yeah. I misspoke there. It's not just dues. Go for it, Thistledown. I was just saying misspoke. It's not just dues. Absolutely. That's a incredibly question that I don't have an answer to, and I'm adding it to our notes. All right. Ooh, that's a great question. I like this idea. What if we add a mandatory addition to all event waivers that your dues to attend the event is not considered a donation? Oh, uh, what if on all event waivers for Westmarch moving forward, we add a simple addendum that your fee paid to attend the event is not considered a donation? Can anybody hear me? Did my thing die? Oh, good. Ariana is Lady Ariana Hale is typing something, Miss Victoria. She has to depart. Thank you very much, Victoria, for participating. Yeah, they're not paying the money directly to. Um, they're not paying the money directly to Westmark. They would pay to Dark Shore, the event of Dark Shore. I don't think that would ever become a true issue, honestly, but it's something to keep an eye on. Where does it say that, if you don't mind me asking, so I can put notes? We need a Westmarch 3/5 compromise. I Yeah. All right, so maybe we should add to a event waiver. Westmarch events are considered, what can you repeat that? That was perfect verbiage. Yeah, please repeat that. Westmarch events are considered. That's exactly. I think we should recommendation as the BOD, and we'll figure this out for the proper verbiage. But let's make sure we say, hey, for all events moving forward, put West March events are considered a fee for a service, not a donation. I think that's a good idea to potentially put forward. Wonderful. I appreciate that very much. I believe that was Dagger that said that. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, so the main reason that I added fundraising to the agenda was to bring up the conversation that we are a 501c7. We do have a 35% financials. We do not have that we are a 501c7 or our EIN listed anywhere that I can find on any Westmarch page from the AMP Wiki to the Facebook page to the CA Amtgard. I did not search the forums, obviously, but I think, yes, that is supposed to be publicly listed. Oh yeah. Well, EIN is public information. I was able to find the EIN by simply searching on the California nonprofit website and typing in words West and March and then hitting search. So it's easy to find if you know how to find it. EINs are not confidential and are a matter of public record. So I think we need to put that we're a 501c7 somewhere. Even if we put the EIN, we should, you know, say what we are for individuals who are looking at our group. I see nothing wrong with uh, disclosing what we are and attempting to align with whatever tax status is necessary. I just want us to be as compliant as possible. I will also be bringing up, not at this very second, but refreshing websites and making suggestions for websites. And I definitely think that's something that we should also, just because of the group that we have here, we should also look over. Yeah, and all it says on that about section is go to CA Amtgard. And I definitely, not to get ahead of ourselves, CA Amtgard is two things away. Um, the last thing I want to bring up on fundraising is this is this is a motion for March. Uh, should we discuss as the board of directors considering converting 501c3? I founded a 501c3 2 years ago. It cost me $300 and some paperwork that I filed through LegalZoom. And when they asked for an explanation, I think I gave them 3 sentences and got an approval. I'm not saying we need to switch. I'm not saying we should switch, but that is something that I think we should have a conversation about. Does anybody have anything against that? It would be so much easier. It would be so much better too. Uh, Not that we have to do it at all, but let's. Can I have a motion to add to March's conversation, our March's schedule to talk about 501c3? Goodness, you're not sharing your screen. All right, so that has been approved. We're going to talk about potentially switching from a 501c7 to a 501c3 in the future. Just as a quick note, in order to convert, a new form will need filed with the IRS requesting the grant of the new tax-exempt status, demonstrating compliance with the relevant regulations. Changing the primary purpose of an organization may also entail eliminating or at least substantially reducing any prohibited or limited activities under the new desired classification. I am not a lawyer. Victoria is, but I don't see anything that we currently do that would go against switching to a 501c3. So we'll talk about that in the future. We switch to BOD access to documents and Westmarch data. Okay, this is very brief. I want, I would like, Thistledown, I'm going to, or James, I apologize. James, I'm going to bring this up to you. I would like the BOD to be able to access every piece of information from financial to waiver data to just finding all the documentation. Is this something that the BOD can do? Can we get access to every piece of information that West has in its existence? Wonderful. We do have waivers down there. Do we want to just bring waivers up to this discussion right now? Is that something we'd like to do? All right. I have a motion to add those 2 topics to this topic. Perfect. Let's go. So parks are not keeping records. Parks are not uploading records to ORC. I think it's something that we really need to um, focus on. I think the BOD should champion the digital records aspect. If we can find a way to encourage and convince all parks to go digital records, I think that'll go a long way to making us compliant as a nonprofit organization and as a viable organization. Because one day somebody's going to get hit in the head, and we're going to say they have a waiver, and someone's going to say where, and we're going to go, oh shoot. And that's not fair. Mhm. It's free. It's something we can do. It's something that, even if it's boring, digital records are easier for prime ministers. Nobody should be asked to keep a box of paper in their house. That's unfair to volunteers. Yeah, great, fine. Oh, that actually helps. Thank you, Scoot. But I I saw Rose with her tablet just e-signing people in, and I thought that was the coolest thing. And I really think this is 1996. Yeah, yep. And I We ask for name, phone number, and email address. It's all public record, anyways. I greatly appreciate that. That's very valuable information. I'm not joking about that. Like Fix's input is exceptionally valuable. I do not, in any capacity, want to align ourselves with a website that we don't control. I don't want um, us to rely on the org. I don't want us to rely on that we can't immediately manipulate. And I actually have concerns about the CA Amtgard website that we'll bring up later on. But I think a G drive for Westmarch, I want us to be compliant and I want us to have our backs covered in everything. And I think that's something we should be very excited about, having that level of security. We can even delete things that are 3 years old if we choose to do so. And going to digital waivers is going to make things easier for our prime ministers, who are the individuals that are usually the ones who are overburdened. I apologize, did not hear you. Yes, I know Downfall. We both started in the Valley of Silver Rains. Yeah, that's actually really good to know. And again, nothing on the waiver is not public record. We don't ask for birthday. We don't ask for social. Um, can I don't see an issue there, but there's nothing wrong with looking at it as security. I completely agree with you there. The last thing we want is bad press about a data breach with some small nonprofit. I completely agree with that. So, um, I would like to add a motion to table this topic for next month about finding a pathway for digital records. Do we have a second on that? Okay. All right. The next one is for Andy Brown, financials discussion. Can you give us a brief breakdown of where the financials are for Westmarch? As much as you feel comfortable putting on a public record that's streaming on Westmarch. I would like to know, how much funds do we have? And what is our average yearly income? Do we have that information? It's okay if we don't. Okay, let's hear it. Hmm. Wonderful. Love it. Okay, so we have no. I apologize. Keep going. Love it. Okay, thank you. All right, I have a completely hypothetical scenario. This is not a scenario that I am suggesting that we do. I want to bring this forth to create a conversation about this. Does everybody know what compound interest is? I love it. Over the past 20 years, the average IRA return has been 8%. So I did a hypothetical. If you took $100 in 2002 and every month you added $10 in a nonprofit IRA and you got 8% return in 2022 on an investment of $2,000, you would have $7,000. That's it. $10 a month was added. So that's $120 a year with an initial investment of $100. My thought process here is, should the board of directors discuss creating an IRA to potentially down the road make Westmarch self sufficient? This is way the hell out there. But is this a potential conversation we want to have? There's 35 concerns. Absolutely. Keep going, please. I love that. Absolutely. Um, is this a conversation that we want to have to see if it's viable? Like creating an invest account that would give us an accessible return. It's obviously there's risk. Obviously there's serious liquidity. What if people stop paying dues? That sort of thing. But is this something that we want to even discuss or even touch upon? No is a perfectly acceptable answer. The per- I apologize for not clarifying that. This would simply be a BOD discussion to talk about what the parameters would have to look like and then come up with a suggestion. We cannot edit the Capora. We cannot interfere with Westmarch doings. All we can do is make recommendations. We need to be very clear on that, of course. All we would be doing is discussing something to potentially make a recommendation to the Kingdom Monarchy at the time. That's what I'm asking is should we add it to March to have that pitch? That's all I'm asking. What are we paying? much do we pay for that? And is this mandatory? All right. Can I ask that our finance member of the BOD find out how much Westmarch is paying for this and what it is actually giving us? Oh God. Great. I would really appreciate that, and we can move forward finance discussion on schedule for March to the very top with your permission. Yeah, I know. Sorry. All right. I'd like to move on to a very brief conversation about CA Amtgard and AmpWiki with somebody's permission. All right. I definitely don't want to be a dictator like Scoot is. Um, CA Amtgard. I took a look at AmpWiki and Westmarch, blah, blah, blah. When looking at CA Amtgard, I did what many veterans do, and I went to look at the forums. And I went and looked all the way back to 2007 when I was posting on there. And reviewing that information, I put myself in the shoes of an individual who was not a member of AmpGuard and was thinking about joining AmpGuard and said, oh, forums, I'm going to look at some forums. Well, I found some threads in the forums that did not have the best verbiage, that maybe did have the most positive message. And I wanted to discuss and this may fall, and I'm going to defer to James on this one. This may fall across the purview of the recruitment Westmarch group, but I think there needs to be some site refreshments on CA Amtgard, and I'm going to suggest that we find a way to archive or clear the Westmarch forums of conversations that may give us a bad picture. That may be not mine. You can leave mine up, but there is memes that are there. There is verbiage that may not be aligned with today's social justice initiatives. I think we should strongly consider wiping historical um, forums, and I encourage everybody to go on there, hit Control F, and see what you can find. It's fun and it brings back some wonderful memories. But I think we need to really look at CA Amtgard. And Fix is amazing, Ian. And what he and Grix, was it Grix that ran it before Fix? Um, yeah, Grix and Fix have, for what, 15 years, done a thankless task of managing that website. But there's a lot of information that isn't on the CA Amtgard website that needs to be there. And my thought process is, of the changes that need to be made, we can do it on AmpWiki tomorrow, or we can make a request to an individual that isn't aligned with us and hope that it gets updated. I think AmpWiki is free and easy to update, and that should be our priority as a face for any changes that we make. So thank you. CA Amtgard's website often directs directly to AmpWiki. If you go on CAMGuard, a lot of the links go directly to the AmpWiki. I love the CAMGuard site. It's great, but it needs a serious revamping, in my opinion. Good. Who is they? I'm sorry to ask. Okay. And Azus is what mission is Azus currently serving with the Westmarch monarchy? Okay, and does he have access to update CA Amtgard? Okay, wonderful. Um, can we pass on information? Go for it, Rose. Sorry. Uh, Miss Rose, you are amazing. And if you have the itinerary pulled up, scribe position is 2 down. And under Article 4, other positions within the Corpora, Section 8 is scribe. That does all of that. We do not have a scribe. We need a scribe. Encourage him to get Section 8 of his own Corpora. That's insane. That is an insane amount of money. We need to find out why we're paying it. Can we get in contact? What's that called? The COM. Need to fix that. We need to find a way to get that discussion moving. Absolutely. And as president of the BOD, what I would like to request is that we get as much information as possible to see if we can make a recommendation to our monarchy to convince them, if we can, of, maybe we should bring up a discussion about negating this fee. And we need to get information to see if that's even a good idea. Maybe the $600 is totally worth it. I don't, but I sure would like to find out. Is that an acceptable request? If it's not, please let me know. You can always say no. I don't care. You won't hurt my feelings. Am I? more along the lines of I want to find out how much we're paying, who we're paying it to, why we are paying it, and what it does. And once we get that information, then we can have a discussion. There's a lot of smart people in this room, and Scoot's here too. Um, and we can determine if that's something we want to say. Hey, I have a complaint about this, and maybe we'll say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm on 3 board of directors. I'm good. Thank you. Fair. Okay. All right. No, we were just saying that I would like to find out who we're paying the $600 fee to, why we are paying it, what benefit it gives, if there is a termination date for this annual payment. And once we receive all that information, there's a lot of smart individuals in this room. We can decide as a group if we want to recommend to the Westmarch monarchy that they contest this or not. Maybe we'll say $600, that's a screaming deal. Or we might say, holy cow, they're robbing us. So I think I would like to get the information about that so we can have a discussion about it. Great. I would like to add this to the schedule for March. Can I get a second? Thank you. Okay. We already had a discussion about AmpWiki or CA Amtgard or both. Um, Westmarch record keeping oversight, I think, falls under what we discussed with the BOD access to documents and Westmarch data waiver. I'd like to briefly talk about the scribe position, which Rose very wonderfully brought up. If I can read from the Kapora briefly, is that okay? Love it. Let's hear it. Thank you. All right. While Thistledown is doing that, I'm going to mention that the scribe's duties are ensure the production of a newsletter at least once. Oh, this is done posted. Great. I'm going to open this up right now. I don't have permission, Thistledown. I'm very sorry. I mean, James. Sorry. Wonderful. We can also just have it in March as well, but if you want to bring it up, that's awesome. Brief notes about the scribe is the scribe does everything that you think the scribe does. And I think it is a position that we should be. Oh, this will down posted. I love it. Easy kingdom payments. All right, let's zoom this bad boy in. All right, so every kingdom from 2017 to today, or 2023, 2022, Westmarch has paid $9,000. Do you know that we have paid more towards the COM than every other group? And according to this, we have overpaid by $3,000. Is everybody looking at this? Bleepity bleepity bleep would be what I would say if I was not mic'd up to a board of directors meeting. I I would have a conversation with the Iron Mountains, who we love, and ask them how they feel about their status of being paid 2,000 over. I would definitely not pay anything for 2023, and I would ask why we are being held to a higher standard when some organizations like Tal Gore, Emerald Hills, Rising Winds, Burning Lands have paid thousands of dollars less than us. Obviously, as the board of directors, again, from our very first conversation for February BOD, we can only make recommendations. We cannot overstep our bounds. But this is a conversation that I would very much like to have in March about mitigating this requirement. Imagine if we had invested that $9,000 in 2017, compound interest at 8%. Anybody want to have a guess? You're looking at about $14,000. Instead, we are down $10,000. We are diligent in our payments. That's nice. Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody have any comments about this? I'm just rambling to myself. Rules for thee, but not for me. Desert Winds has paid 5 grand. Celestial Kingdom has paid $1,600. These individuals who have a $5,000 amount due, $3,000 amount due, I bet you they're still allowed to play the game of Amtgard. I bet you they're still allowed to give awards out. It disincentivizes being dues paid. It disincentivizes everything. Somebody's going to put, not me, somebody is going to put forward an all thing saying that none of my dues can go towards the COM licensing fee. Somebody can always put forward a Kapora amendment. Yep. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm not going to do it, but this is a joke. This is offensive and frustrating. Anyway, scribe position. Does anybody want to talk more about the COM funding at the moment, or do we want to hold this till March? As mentioned earlier, the BOD is in charge of signing all contracts and reviewing all. My apology. Can you hear me okay now? Can, can you hear me now? My apologies. The BOD is in charge of contracts. We are in charge of overseeing financial obligations. We are in charge of audits. All of this, I believe, falls under the purview of reviewing this COM annual fee that we have to pay. That is my opinion. I am completely open to discourse on that. Well, I think that we should gather more information. There's no point in being outraged and talk about it now. I would like to find out a bit more about what's going on here. Maybe request a statement from the COM people in charge and be like, what's going on? And have a discussion about it in March. Well, I don't even know when Westmarch pays the next time. I don't know if we paid for 2023. I don't know if we're not going to pay for 2023 since we're in the green. Let's hear it. So we've probably already paid it. I would very much like to see that. Um, and that's okay. James, thank you very much for being so swift in getting this information to us. If I can ask, do we know if we've made this payment for this year? That's my that's my thought process here. But I'm seeing we made a payment in 2021 of $2,000. Somebody said okay to making a payment of $2,000. And there was another park that made a lump payment of $4,000 after never making a payment. I I I and we need to find out why that's supposed to pay because we don't have a record of that anywhere. We don't have a record of this contract that anybody can find. It's not on CA Amtgard, it's not on AmpWiki, it's not on our Facebook page. We need to have a folder that has all the information about everything Westmarch. And my dream by the end of this year is that we can all go to some G drive or some AmpWiki and I can grab this folder. I can grab this document. The document that Scoot just shared with me. I love it. Everybody needs to be able to find it. And it's all going to be hosted in one area. That's my dream. Let's get okay. who's in charge of making the payment? Is it the Prime Minister? So we, at this moment, have an outgoing Prime Minister and an incoming Prime Minister. And luckily, we know the incoming Prime Minister very well. But we need to have a copy of this contract before we make a payment. And hopefully it's not set up on audited payments. Because if it is, there's nothing to stop them from pulling another $2,000. And the fact that the group is in charge of overseeing all financials and signing the contract doesn't have access to that information is what we want to fix this year. I am going to repeat that as often as I can, that I want everybody on the BOD, every individual. If you say, "Hey, I don't have access to something," or "I see this page and this looks bad, we need to fix this," please PM that to me. Please add that information. I don't have access to this. I want to see this. Why don't we have this? Let me know. That type of oversight falls under the purview of the BOD. I put forth a motion that we make a recommendation to the Westmarch monarchy that they cease making payments for this COM until we receive more information and have a discussion about it. So I'm going to put into the notes, the notes for this meeting, BOD makes recommendation to Westmarch monarchy, which is all we can do, to not make payment until more information is procured, such as why have we paid thousands of dollars more than the other groups, and why would we make a payment in 2023 if we're in the green? So I think we'll find a pathway to put that in writing and send it to the Westmarch Mon via some message. But that'll just simply be a recommendation, and I hope in March that we'll get some more details about this. Wendy, don't pay anything. Hey, Wendy, there's a new Korean restaurant. Wendy, there's a new Korean restaurant in Ocean side that I'd really like to try. Apparently, they serve you the food on robots. You 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 paying? What's up? Aw, ruin everything. Aw. All right. Move. If it's okay to ask, I'd like to move on to the scribe position. And I apologize for this meeting going long. Hopefully, future meetings won't be this long. If you have to dip out, it's completely fine. The scribe shall keep minutes of all things. The scribe shall ensure the production of a newsletter at least once every 3 months. Scribe may request budget reports from the prime ministers, letters from officials, board of directors meetings. The scribe shall work with the regent to maintain a calendar of events. The scribe may be appointed by a prime minister, and the position may be left vacant. Um, They're Amtgard as a whole is a rock'em sock'em robot group. You get on the field, you play foam tag. That's what happens. And then when you play fancy Amtgard, everybody has abilities. And what I wanted to bring this forward as a board of director recruitment aspect, but we're not going to do that. I think maybe we can make recommendations to the recruitment group. That's something we may want to talk about in future months, not today. But we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's other groups out there that have tens of thousands of members that persist with larger groups than what we currently have. Having a scribe is just one different way we can expand Amtgard as an organization. Uh, Wendy in this meeting right now is a serpent knight. I don't know what that is, but apparently she makes stuff. Apparently she's good at it. I've been told. I haven't seen anything that she's made. But we should have more outreach towards filling these positions. We don't have, as far as I know, a Regents Defender. As far as I know, we don't have an heir apparent. Okay, wonderful. The heir apparent is not listed anywhere on AmpWiki, CA Amtgard. You get the idea. So let's work on the visibility, and I think we should find pathways to have Amtgard scriptoriums. We should have Amtgard stitch and bitch circles, so to speak. I think we need to focus more on encouraging people to participate in Amtgard in different events besides hitting people with sticks. And the scribe position is one easy way to start that process. I here's 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 what here's where we need to think outside the box for this. Is it the scribe doesn't have to be Steve Smith, who is at Ashen Grove and is a dues paying member. I think we can find individuals who like working online. This is where we should be doing the advertising outreach. And if the BOD can't do that, that's fine. But why are we not reaching out to the general public and saying, hey, we're a nonprofit. We need somebody who wants to do a newsletter. Hey, we're a profit. We want somebody who wants to, say they get some nonprofit experience and create an advertising thing for us. That's the type of thing I'm talking about. If we can't find somebody at Thor's Refuge to do this, then we need to look outside of Thor's Refuge. There's 40 different colleges in the state of California, and each of them have a degree in communications. And we're asking one person to create a newsletter for nonprofit credit. Exactly. Love it. And yeah, do it. All yours. It cannot be understated uh, what Bear Bear did by visiting all the lands in such a short period of time. I have not been around as much as Thistledown and Windy and Scoot and Rose, but I've never heard of anything like it, and you deserve commendations for your efforts. So thank you very much for that, Bear Bear. I genuinely mean that. And I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here with us. Um, Thank you. And that I appreciate that because I wasn't around, and that's my bad. And I appreciate you bringing that up very much, Eton. That's awesome. And I wish that I had been out when you came down to the Southlands because that would have been awesome. That amount of effort is thankless, and I appreciate you doing that very much. I was I wasn't talking to you. I was kidding. Well, well, I think if we look at the Kapora and we look at the requirements for scribe, it says the production of a newsletter at least once every 3 months. So, what is a newsletter? Yep. So, what is a newsletter? That is where we play with the loose definition of what the Kapora gives the scribe the authorization to do. Is a newsletter something that's just posted in the Discord? Is it a Google Calendar that's just updated and then hosted on AmpWiki, Westmarch, and CA Amtgard? Like we can, if somebody's willing to do it, we should give them the flexibility. Yes, yes, exactly. Wendy, can you please, if it's not too much to ask, consider looking into forcing somebody to be a scribe? There we go. I love it. Just make sure it's not Rose. I was, you can make Dragon. I was going to point out that Rose suffers from the unfortunate situation that most not most, but many partners in Westmarch deal with. They do everything that their husband does and more, but doesn't get the same amount of rewards. Why is that? Does anybody know? I, okay, Sir Scoot. Just gonna put that out there. Why is it that the spouses do more work than the husbands and don't get the same amount of awards? Is that? Yep. I was looking at Zeno and Vera. They've been playing since 2007. Zeno is currently a duke, has awarded a lordship, and his lady, who comes out the same amount of time, has one rose. And I was looking at Rose, and I was looking at Guillaume and Lady Kathy, and tweaking myself. Is there parity there? Yeah, that's true. That's true. Is is should the Westmarch BOD discuss the current award system and parity and potentially making a better recommendation system besides the Amtgard org? I am a big fan of James. James is one of the first people that came down to Southern California from Westmarch. I'm a big fan of James. I genuinely mean that. Love it, love it. I believe it's fair to say that perhaps Westmarch has been a bit stingy with awards in the past. Just gonna put that out there. So I'm glad that that's being changed. We are going to find a way by the end of the year to make a recommendation as a BOD on how to streamline records and how to streamline waivers. That is going to happen this year. That's because we have Rose and Wendy and Kathy. There is, I apologize for interrupting, there is nothing in the Kapora that says anything about Weapons Master tournaments or any other tournament being reported to the kingdom. So that might be, I can't find it. This is the one that was revised September 2022. Okay, well, this is the one that is on CA Amtgard's website. So I'm just going to put that out there. All right. I hope that I am. Please tell me that I am. Because I'm on the website right now. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to click on documents and Westmarch Kingdom Kapora of bylaws. I'm going to click on it right now. And it says revised September 2022. This is what is being publicly hosted. Great. Well, if it says revised September 2022, that's the one I am reading, and I'm clicking it right on the CA Amtgard website. Oh, it does. The name of the one says 11/2022. Maybe we should update the revised section. All right, so let's see. And that potential amendment will say that a weapon master must report into the kingdom to count as a tournament. Okay. Okay. Article 7. What was it? Thank you. One. Beautiful. Love it. Kingdom level event. That's great. So, um, yeah, there's no, we can't, can we put in a rule about lands reporting that information? Or no, we really can't, can we? I do remember submitting those with audits. That is accurate. Well, we need to find a way to make local level groups be able to digitally host results. I would think that would be something we could potentially discuss. Yep, a lot of folders, but at least the information is there. I'm very Vogon about that. Absolutely. Yeah. Shire Gata tournament results. March 2021, April 2021, all the way through. Create a new folder each year. Why not? Okay. Are we cool moving on to the trailer? Etah is the individual who brought up the trailer. Um, and I apologize. I keep saying Etah. Mr. Paul Wilkins brought up the trailer. Paul, can you find out how much a trailer would cost that would meet the requirements of what you would like to have, and then present that to us in March? I love that idea personally. That sounds wonderful. Is that something you like to do? I apologize. You absolutely did bring up Trucker Storage Shed. I forgot about that. Would you like to champion that research? Absolutely. That's the last topic on our February agenda, which is the next one, which is Westmarch inventory. Um, so, yes, trailer and then better records. Um, Paul, please, if you're all right with it, find out how much like a double axle trailer would cost that has a good lock and is watertight. Let's find out how much that would cost so we can make a recommendation to potentially get it and talk about who would store it, who would be in charge of, keeping it, that sort of thing. And then Westmarch inventory absolutely falls under the purview of the BOD, which I was very excited about. Um, we need to start inventorying things, 1000%. Limitations of the board. According to the Kapora, the board has no status in order of precedence and no jurisdiction over any internal club or local chapter functions. The board has no power to change, amend, alter, or otherwise affect the rulebook, Kapora, or supplements to either publication. We do have the opportunity to work closely with the Prime Minister in monitoring kingdom funds and perform unsolicited audits of the kingdom and audit all records at the end of each Prime Minister's term of office. So, do we consider inventory records? And was that James that said he doesn't? Wonderful. Okay, so records and inventory are two different things. Is there an issue with the board of directors what's your issue with the board of directors asking for tracking inventory? Who's doing it now? where is the current inventory list for Westmarch? And is it accessible to anybody? I love that. That's great. I don't see why we can't help with that. Paul, you were going to say something. Well, according to the Oxford Dictionary, inventory is a record. I'm just going to put that in for posterity. I respectfully disagree with James, but as long as somebody's doing it, that's what's important. As long as it's being done, then everybody's getting ahead. If Amanda wants help, maybe tell her the board of directors is willing to assist, or maybe Paul is since he's bought 3 crowns. And uh, as long as it's getting done, then it's great. Um, Now, a motion to move from February agenda, new and unfinished business, to open floor and moving quickly to adjournment. Do we have a second? Do we have a second on that? Thank you. I love it. Okay. Um, open floor. Article X of the Capora, Section 2, Subclause 3, uh, Note D. The president has the authority. The president of the BOD has the authority to. Oh, where is it? Article X, Section 2, Subclause. Yep, there you go. I give carte blanche for the entire year. So there you go. Uh, if necessary, the Prime Minister has the authorization to seize all records and finances with the approval of the President, the disposition of which must be handled at the next Board of Directors meeting. I give carte blanche for the Prime Minister to do that whenever they wish. Or the Treasurer, excuse me. The Treasurer, excuse me. Carte blanche, do it whenever you want. We should absolutely keep our eyes on the financials, especially after what we saw earlier. Um, the last thing I have before we move to adjourn is, does anybody have any personal goals that they would like to put up for March? Is there anything they would like to discuss in March that we haven't put already? Sounds like nothing. You can email me or later to be added to the itinerary for March. Does anybody have anything they would like to discuss before we move to adjournment? Oh, I apologize. Thank you very much for that, Andy. Yes, schedule for March. When uh, Chicken has a new job where evenings and weekends are better for him, which is freaking awesome. And that's Mr. Chavez. I apologize. Um, do we have a preference for when we would want to meet in March? Anybody have any days they cannot do? Is do we want to do a Saturday again? Is that good for everybody here, Saturday evening, or would we like to do a weekday evening? Is anybody against a Tuesday like the 14th or the 21st or the 28th? Does Monday, the, I apologize. Um, does anybody have anything against Fridays before we say a Tuesday? Okay, great. James, Tuesday or Friday, do you have a preference? Okay. Chris, do you have a preference Tuesday or Friday evening? Okay, Paul, where are you going in SoCal, Paul? What city? Well, I wish you were in San Diego County. I'd buy you dinner. Um, uh, I apologize, Dag. I don't remember your name, and I'm very sorry. I will work to fix that. Do you have a preference between Friday and Tuesday? Thank you, Frankie. I will remember that. Um, I'm lying. I'll do my best. Uh, March 24th. Is there anybody here that hates March 24th? I'm messaging. Is it tough for Andy and Rose to do Fridays? Please be honest. Tuesday it is. Tuesday it is. 14, 21, or 28. Paul, you are busy in certain weeks during March. Is March 21st okay? All right, we're going to do a tentative March 21st. Do we want to do 3, 4, 5, 6? What time? March 21st. It's love it. March 20. Ha! March 21st at 6 p.m. is going to be the tentative. I will post all updates in the Discord server. I'm going to do that on purpose to try and get more people to visit it, but I will also message everybody on Facebook and text like I did. I would love to get with you, James, to discuss how to use OBS better. Otherwise, I will make a recommendation to use Zoom next month. But I am open to becoming more efficient with OBS. You tell me what you want me to do, and I'll make sure I'll be there. If you're going to take the time out to teach me this, I will make myself available. Um, but it doesn't have to be tomorrow or anything. You get the idea. Whenever you get time, I would be happy to learn more about this. Because right now, I'm old, and I'm like, please let me use Zoom. So I I'm not saying that's right or good, but I'm like, I hate this. And that's just because I don't know what I'm doing, not for any other reason. What were you going to say, Rose? Suggested topics for next month: Amtgard credit for BOD meetings. I think these meetings should only grant monster credit. I've always liked James. All jokes aside, the last time there was a call for people to jump in and become members of the BOD, it was met with scorn and derision and lackluster interest in volunteers. My apologies. We need to find ways to embolden people to want to come to these meetings. And I think in this conversation we've discovered a lot of really neat things. And if we can, that's a great idea, Rose, to incentivize people to be here. We we should have people lining up to be a part of this. And whatever changes we need to make to do that, let's do that. So I love the credit idea. I I would really like that. Yeah, attendance is huge. I think just as a credit for attendance, for someone like me, that means a lot. I don't care what the credit is in, but just like, oh, cool, that helps me towards my voting eligibility. He did hit me with a spell ball. He did power word kill me earlier. Yeah, that was Frankie, whose name I remembered. Is there, and I'm not a box top collector, but is there awards for being on the BOD or participating in the BOD? Well, here you go. For this this is something I planned on bringing up, and I'm going to bring up in like June. But if you do not plan on serving on the BOD in 2024, you are responsible for finding your replacement. Does that does that does that mean that they're automatically given a position? No, but you should tell somebody why they should be on the BOD and encourage them to run. If you're not going to be on there, if you're not going to be with us next year, encourage an individual to run. And I think that's something we can all hold ourselves accountable to. Yes, yes, yes. I did get a Discord message. James, James, we all know you've gone above and beyond. But yes, that is different. That was directed towards people just from the non-monarchy positions of BOD. But that is a very good point of contention, Thistledown, and I apologize for not clarifying that. Okay. There we then. Tragically, we've been overthrown by zombies. Good job, Bear Bear. What I want to know is in those videos that Chris is making, they start off with literally like an F-14 flying over the zombies. Why don't you just firebomb them? Why do you got to put men on the ground? Why you put? He's got air support. There you go. Your next video, the plane has to crash. All right. I don't want to tell people to get off, but I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the BOD meeting so I can stop the stream. Is that acceptable? Wonderful. Okay. I am